Hello, 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 hello. British People's League. Trying to get my bearings here, folks. You've heard the old story. We're on our own when it comes to video time. We don't have technical staff, etc. Well, we're all volunteers. British People's League, we have friends. Anyway, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. It's the last day of June 2013. June 30th, 2013. Guess what tomorrow is? Well, tomorrow is Dominion Day. The founding of Canada, July 1st, 1867. Our founding father was born in Scotland, something I'm very proud of. Union Jack for our British heritage, but, you know, a little pinch of Scottish in there. Sir John Alexander Macdonald, the founder of Canada, was born in Scotland. Of course, when he founded the Dominion of Canada in 1867, he had the blessings of the Queen, Queen Victoria, whose portrait is behind me. So today we're going to talk about a death, a killing, a happy death, a happy killing. The death of a hateful bill, a hateful law that controlled freedom of speech on the internet here in Canada. There is, on the criminal code books of Canada, a, quote, hate law. Fair enough. You know, the criminal code is heavy-duty stuff. The hate law in the books there is to prevent people from talking about genocide or incitement to cause physical harm to anyone identifiable by a group, etc. Unless, of course, it happens to be white. You don't see any charges being laid since that book has been put on the books. The hate law about genocide doesn't talk about white people. White people don't seem to matter. Anyway, that law's in the books. We got no problem with that. Okay. The law that got killed here in Ontario under the Canadian human rights legislation. What a title. Human rights. Human rights as long as you're not white. That law was passed to divert from the criminal code, which allowed proper courtroom procedures, proper legal procedures, truth as a defense in some cases, but still. The hate laws, when you really go off the deep end, you talk about, you know, people should be buried, etc. Wonder if they could charge me under the hate law for gleefully celebrating on this broadcast the death of the human rights legislation this past week. The human rights law controlled what you said on the internet by telecommunications. It started out to stop one man, one hero, a very good personal friend of mine that passed away a few years back, John Ross Taylor. John Ross Taylor broadcast on a machine called a codophone, the pre-runner to today's answering message machines and so on. And he left messages that upset the establishment. Now, other patriot groups around the globe, of course, are also celebrating what has happened in Canada this week. For one thing, it proves that Anglo-Saxons are still in charge of Canada, mainly from Calgary, Alberta, who are behind our Prime Minister, Stephen Harper. There's lots Stephen Harper has done that this boy doesn't approve of, doesn't like. But hey, let's get excited when we have a winner. Let's not moan and groan all the time. And we have a winner. The law that controls speech on the internet, miles apart from the hate law in the Criminal Code of Canada. Miles apart. The hate law on speech, the hate law on internet speech. If your feelings were hurt, One particular lawyer in Ottawa had a field day having people charged under the human rights legislation of Ontario, in Ontario. A lot of decent people had their names smeared about, paid huge fines and penalties because someone's feelings were hurt, because stronger language is used. Not enough under the hate law. That's why they had to have this subsidiary law, a little bit separate from the criminal code. Irwin Cotler, a member of Parliament in Pierre Trudeau's old riding, Montreal, tried to stop the hate law legislation, the human rights legislation. I am sorry, folks. It's a Sunday morning, no apologies, but I'm having a hard time keeping the two separate. The hate law is the criminal code across Canada. The Ontario Human Rights Commission is a little bit separate to do with jobs. The human rights legislation that got killed on June 26th, thanks to a private member's bill of the National Federal Conservative Party of Canada, a member of the Conservative Party of Canada, with Stephen Harper being our Prime Minister. It was passed in the House of Commons. Now, Commons, that's supposed to mean the commoner, the average person. It was passed over a year ago. Then the law in Canada, it went through the hoops into the Senate. Had to have 3 readings. It took over a year to get 3 readings. And royal assent is when the Governor General signs on behalf of the Queen. So the law, the human rights law, was killed, buried, smothered on June 26th. The 3rd reading in the Senate, and royal assent signed later that evening. So what's the big deal, Beattie? I mean, you know, the hate law is still the criminal code, but again, let's think carefully. That's for real heavy-duty stuff. Somebody talks about killing people, etc., etc. Look, the English language, millions of words in the English language. I'm going to make a few enemies now. But why be so stupid as to use words that are going to get you charged under the hate law? When there's thousands of words that you can use the English language, still get your point across, but without being charged under the hate law. Now think about it. A Jewish gentleman named Cotler, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, he stalled and stalled that bill, cried and whined. The Liberals and certain Jewish people, not all Jewish people, I say not all because 2 Jewish people were charged under the human rights legislation. Mark Stein and Ezer Levant. Those 2 Jews were charged under the human rights legislation. Now, if they had never been charged, who knows if that law would have been challenged at all. Sometimes you have to ruffle feathers in the higher up circles to get some action for the little guy. Who cares what started it? The fact is, the human rights hate law, internet speech was affected greatly. Most of the people charged under that human rights crap were charged for words that offended someone, that ruffled their feathers, hurt their feelings. But the repercussions were serious. Some people were bounced off the internet, usage of the internet for political purposes, barred for life. I mean, it's just totally dictatorial. And the Conservative Party of Canada got it bounced. Now, let's get into some nitty-gritty here. One man in particular, Mark Lemire, punch him on Google, you'll get all his information, is a hero in all this. He was charged under the human rights crap. He fought back with the help of an Eastern Ontario lawyer, Barbara Kalachka. And they valiantly fought back. Perhaps it caught the eye of the Conservative government. It should have. Mark had all kinds of drives on his webpage to sock it to the Conservatives to get this law off the books. So a private member's bill out of Calgary, and that's the stronghold that's saving us, Western Canada, Calgary, Alberta. They're saving our Anglo-Saxon heritage in Canada at this particular point. Harper's the one that brought back the Royal Canadian Navy, the Royal Canadian Air Force, the good old uniforms. That fossil that still goes around trying to talk about flying saucers, Paul Hellyer, he brought in the all-green uniform under the Liberals, under Pearson, etc., when they tried to destroy our old Red Ensign flag, and there'll be a lot of Red Ensigns flying tomorrow, Canada's true flag, the flag under which 2 world wars were fought. So there's a lot tied in with this bill being killed. I think it's a great birthday present, perhaps a birthday present from Prime Minister Stephen Harper to our founding father, Sir John Alexander Macdonald. Back in 1867, John Alexander Macdonald, Sir John Alexander Macdonald, founded Canada with the help of all those fathers of Confederation. And Queen Victoria gave the blessing. Freedom of speech. It's back on the internet. In a way, you know, it forced a lot of patriots who have access to the internet, whatever way, forced a lot of them to think about their choice of words. Well, that's good. Smarten them up a bit. Come on, use words that they can't nail you for. Oh, well, Beattie, you're hedging, you're going around the corner here, etc. Well, we all know what the Liberals are after. They want to crush our Anglo-Saxon heritage, our Celtic Anglo-Saxon heritage, swamp us with invaders from Africa and Asia, and destroy our heritage. In the school books, they write up the wars, the First and Second World War, with the, I call it the red rag, whatever that Pearson pennant thing is. In the photos in the school books now, as if it was there, World War I and World War II, which it wasn't. The red ensign was there. The red rag of Pearson's didn't come in until 1965. The Union Jack embedded in the red ensign, and the Union Jack itself had been associated with Canada since our founding in 1867. So nearly 100 years before Pearson's pennant came in. Not going to get into a flag debate. But I'll tell you what. My little script here. It's on the homepage. On the British People's League homepage. Under 3 videos down under the title, Meanwhile Back at the Ranch. The dictatorial law that persecuted so many Canadian patriots was hung June 26, 2013. Thanks to genuine patriots for pushing the federal government, the federal Conservative government, to trash the internet control law. We are free at last. Now the heavy-duty criminal code hate law still applies, where incitement to real hatred, where physical harm may result. Now that's much different than the human rights crap law that was executed June 26, 2013. When we say executed, we mean killed and hung, not your signature on a will. The law that was just killed hauled many up before human rights tribunals for someone complaining that their feelings were hurt by postings, with the result that many patriots suffered vicious financial and jail penalties. What are the cowards who hide behind their whispers? What are the cowards who hide behind their whispers? The Jews control all. What are they going to do now with their spare time? And while at it, just throwing in that all Canada's major bank presidents are Celtic Anglo-Saxons. Well, this is one country they do not control. Why cowards? Because the conspiracy buffs cannot handle it that the Dominion of Canada is still under Celtic Anglo-Saxon rule. Why cowards? Because the conspiracy buffs cannot handle it that the Dominion of Canada is still under Celtic Anglo-Saxon rule. If they admit that truth, then they might be asked to actually support the British People's League to keep Canada's majority white. If they admit the truth, they might be asked to actually support the British People's League to keep Canada's majority white. Reminds me of the days at Major Hoopel's boarding house, when landlord and best friend Dutchman Henrik van der Wint educated me as to people who bitch about something good as their excuse. They bitch about something good as their excuse to not financially donate. Rest in peace, Henrik van der Wint. Admittedly, our people are not going to keep control of the reins much longer without massive, aggressive forward thrusts. But for now, just ask the liberal pukes who delayed the death of their slime multi-cult human rights control of the Senate law. Just ask them how they fought in the Senate for months and months. Just ask them who is in control of Canada. June 26, 2013, the birthday present for Sir John and the founding fathers of Canada for July 1st, the birthday of Canada. There are so many that deserve medals for fighting to give us back freedom of speech. I am totally ashamed that I was used, once again, when I was very young, to get the now-killed internet control law passed decades ago as a young fool. The hysteria built around me. Check it out on the whitewashing of John Beattie, the YouTube video, the whitewashing of John Beattie. It tells the whole story. I was used unknowingly by the now dead Canadian Jewish Congress. Unknowingly. Ashamed? Yes. But I was unknowingly used. Very stupid young fool. John Ross Taylor is beaming down from Valhalla. I warned John that broadcasting stuff I wrote for him might land him in jail. So what, he bravely said in his late 70s, and he did go to the slammer for it all. Think about it, a law for one man. It was used, yes, to control others down the road in freedom of speech, but at that time they had another ulterior motive for wanting to stop John Taylor's broadcasts. I had a family, very young children. I just couldn't risk it all by doing the broadcast myself. So John begged me to give him leakage on Canada's Secret Civil War. Check out Canada's Secret Civil War on the book preview at the very bottom end editorial on the BritishPeoplesLeague.com homepage. Canada's Secret Civil War. Could the key reason John was persecuted be that he was revealing deliberate leaks as to the ongoing secret civil war in Canada back then? As I say, see the book preview. The last article, the BritishPeoplesLeague.com blog, way down at the bottom. His name now goes up in history. The law to stop one man, John Ross Taylor, and subsequently used to hurt many following in John's footsteps, finally killed decades later. But like it or not, Stephen Harper, the Prime Minister of Canada, did it all. He killed the multi-cult human rights law. Hip hip hooray! Giving us all a birthday present for tomorrow. He killed the multi-cult human rights law by giving his government the nod to do so, to back his own members' private bill. Thank you, Conservative Party of Canada, for giving us back internet freedom of speech in our Dominion of Canada. Just 6 days before Canada's founding birthday of July 1st, our founding father, Sir John Alexander, born in Scotland, is extremely proud of you, Prime Minister Stephen Harper. As are hundreds of thousands of freedom-loving Canadians. Keep up the good work, Calgary. Give us some emails if you have any more questions about the death of the hate law. human rights law. BritishCanada@gmail.com. BritishCanada@gmail.com. Have a good look at our videos. Do read our editorials. There are many editorials tucked away on the BritishPeoplesLeague.com homepage. Enjoy tomorrow. Well, some of you might be not hearing this video for a couple of weeks. So we'll put it this way. Enjoy Canada's birthday tomorrow. The Dominion of Canada Day. Dominion Day. Thanks for tuning in. Spread the video link here. Spread it around the globe to our Anglo-Saxon peoples. Hello to candor.org.uk. Candor.org.uk. Hello to Don, to Will, to Sarah. Hello to all our good friends, Marg, our British People's League friends. Goodbye for now, and thank you for tuning in. We'll get back at you in a couple of weeks. So long.